And we are live. Ooh, yeah. Good morning. Good morning from Asia. Wow. I look nice in this camera. I like YouTube's filters. Anyways, my name's Alex. I'm here to talk about the Philippines. And if it is, first of all, I don't see anybody on here. So I'm going to start this once I can see one or two people joining this live stream. This takes forever sometimes to get going, but I'm gonna just start. Right? Should I get going? Oh, there we go. Now I see numbers. Anyway, so yeah, this is the scheduled live stream that I post after the regular video gets released. So I just released a video called "Went from Homeless to Living Like a King in the Philippines," and that video was about Brian, I think his name was, how you say pronounce his name, a gentleman that's from the U.S. and he was on disability and he was barely making it in the U.S. on his amount of income that he had, and he decided to take the leap and came to the Philippines, and he was essentially homeless in the U.S. for 2 years before deciding to move here, and now he's here and he feels like he's living like a king. So we're gonna talk about a little bit about that, and then as usual, this is an open discussion. So feel free to ask anything you want about the Philippines, about travel, about just anything in life, whatever's on your mind, share it with me. I have no problem discussing all that. Joseph Keller says, hi. Hello, Joseph. Thank you for that message. Now I know people can see this and you can comment. And yeah, let's get into it. So I think before, back in the day, maybe 20 years ago or so, there was this idea that you can live like a king off $500. And maybe that was true at the time, but these days that's nearly impossible. So first we have to define what is a king. What do you consider living like a king, right? So that could be very different from each individual, right? So this person went from homeless to having a home and a fiance that really takes good care of him and cooks for him. So to him, that's living like a king, right? For me, maybe I need a bit more, right? So it really comes down to who you are. But I will say this: in the Philippines, your money goes a lot further. So I'd say about 3x or 4x the value you get back home in the US or Canada. Now, in Toronto, where I'm from, the housing market is ridiculous, right? To have your own studio apartment in downtown Toronto without anything else probably costs you about 2.5 to even $3,000, right? And that's just for a basic apartment. And in Canada, unlike Philippines or Thailand, Southeast Asia, the units don't come furnished, and you have to rent those out long term. You can't just do month to month. And if you're going to do month to month, it's going to cost you a lot higher. So obviously, people that don't have kids, that work online, that maybe want to travel a bit, that are younger, that can take a risk, would easily come out to Asia and explore. Actually, even the other way around, the older you are, the better, even because you have a stable income, probably have a pension, some kind of retirement fund that's coming in. Maybe you're on like disability or veteran. I'm not a vet, but I think if you're in the military, you have like this monthly paycheck that comes in. So those kinds of people really get a lot of value for being in Asia. So yeah, part of the passport bro is true is when you come down here trying to find a wife or a significant other. But I think that's just the younger generation, right? People within 20 to 35 probably doing that kind of stuff. And I'm sure older too. But my point is like, I feel like if you have a stable income, or if you have like at least $1,000 US a month, you can live pretty comfortably here, Southeast Asia, where you would need 3 to 4 thousand in the US or Canada. So we got 50 people watching this. That's just the beginning, the intro to this. We'll talk about a whole plethora of things as usual. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, hitting that like button. I also have a second channel which I'm gonna talk about. It's called Man Up, but I don't know. I can't put the link here, so it doesn't matter. Let's go into some of these comments. Cosmo Scurry says, "How you doing? I'm doing great. AI Art Collective is here, one of our regulars. What's up, Alex? Not much. How are you doing?" So I'm gonna have a sip of this water, and I'm gonna try to think of like what is considered living like a king. I want to know what your definition of living like a king would be. So if you hear someone says, "Oh, I moved to Asia, and now I'm living like a king," like what do you have in your mind? What does that look like to you? And I want to hear it. And I'll probably give you an estimate of how much that might cost you here. And then I'll tell you guys my definition of living like a king. So, firstly, I'm going to start with mine. So, what would be considered living like a king for me? Oh yeah, and of course, you guys hit that like button so YouTube knows this video's enjoyable, so other people can join in. Gotta press the little three dots in the top right hand corner and then like the video that way. So for me, living like a king would firstly mean to not go to a 9 to 5 job. So that right away, if you're coming in the Philippines, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Singapore, Indonesia, all these countries, right? Timor Leste. If you're coming here and you were sent by your, I mean, for me, this is just my definition of king. I would not want to consider myself a king if I'm working a 9 to 5 job. If I'm going to work for 8, 9 hours a day and working for someone else and making them a rich person. To me, the definition of a king doesn't entail me working. Now, that doesn't mean I want to be lazy and be on a beach the whole day, but it means I'm working towards a goal that's for me, myself, something that I want to achieve during my stay here. So, number one, considered a king is not working. Now, whether you have passive income or do something online for a couple hours a day, or like myself running a YouTube channel, which is my main source of income, yeah, that's work, but it's for me. I can choose when I want to work and when I don't want to work. I can choose like how much effort I want to put in, and I see results based on how much work I put into my own channel, how much marketing, how much like editing, how much content I want to put out there will be a real like accurate result of my success. So that's number one thing, not working. Number two is having an accommodation that I'm comfortable with. And what does that mean for me living like a king? That means not having to share anything with anyone, right? So I don't want to stay in like a dormitory or having to share the kitchen with someone or like the common area, all that. No, no, no. If I'm living like a king, I want to have a place that's all mine. And that also means something more than a studio unit. Now, most of us that come here, our budget might be between 400 to 600 bucks a month on rent because you don't want to come to Asia and pay more rent than you did back home. So obviously that number's lower. And then that would mean I don't want a studio. Most places around that budget are studios in Southeast Asia, which means everything is in just like one area. So your kitchen, your living room, and your bedroom is essentially one big room, like a hotel room. I don't really consider that living like a king. So I would say at least a one bedroom for me personally. Let me try to define living like a king a bit more here. For me, living like a king would mean not to worry about where I'm eating, right? Like if I'm going out to eat something, I don't want to pick something on the menu based on the price. Now, back home, that's the number one thing I look at. I'll be honest. Like, I mean, very rarely do I just splurge and buy something because of the taste, or I go to the keg for like $100 steak or something. In Canada, wherever I eat, the first thing I'm looking at the prices. That's just how ridiculous restaurants are getting taxes and tip. Tip culture is ridiculous in Canada, and I'm sure the U.S. too. 20% on takeout order. Fuck out of here. Anyways, so mandatory on your bill. Nah, not me. I'm not living in a country like that. I mean, I'm not leaving the country just because of that, but I'm saying that's one of the big things that always like surprises me every time I go back to Canada. A reminder, hey, here's the food you paid for, but pay us more, please, just because you took it out of the restaurant. Anyway, that doesn't make sense. So not worrying about where to eat, what to eat, having a one bedroom unit at least, not working a 9 to 5 job. And then also I want to be able to travel and do activities. So if I have money for that, now you see living like a king is really not possible for 500 or even $1,000 in Southeast Asia because inflation is a real thing. And not only in the US and Canada, Australia, UK, all those in Europe, it's also happening in the Philippines. Like I can see prices that are really different even from like 3 years ago. And I'm sure people that live here long enough have seen all that too. I'm gonna get a bit more into that, but let me read some comments. Oh, Jeff's here. Tetrich Jeff Unstable Freak. Good morning, Alex. I don't live like a king here in the Philippines, but I'm able to afford some things I want and need, which would be difficult for me in the West. Absolutely. There are things you can do here that you could, like taking a taxi in Canada. I lived there for like all my life, and I think I took a taxi once. What does that tell you? Because it's expensive. Like over here, I take taxi daily. Things like going on excursions and doing things. I would do once, maybe a year or two, like twice a year, maybe. Things are expensive in Canada, and if you're doing a regular job, living by yourself, it's impossible almost if unless you're making 100K, which is not even that much these days, considering how expensive things are. So in the Philippines and Asia, you can do a lot more activities. You can take a weekend trip somewhere. You can rent a unit, even though like, you can rent a hotel for 20 bucks a night, spend 60 bucks or 40 bucks on 2 nights, a weekend trip getaway, and you can do excursions, go island hopping, go to an animal sanctuary. You can do zip lining, ATVing, you can go shoot guns. You can do all these things that will just cost you an arm and a leg back home, but over here it might be 10, 20, 30 bucks. Like, what is $30 for a full day island tour? You tell me that. You can't even eat McDonald's for two people back home for $30. Right over here, you can go different islands, see the beautiful beaches. They make you lunch. They put your ass on a boat. It's like a proper like daily activity thing. You can climb mountains for free. You can go on hills, hiking. You can jump off waterfalls. All these things are there if you want them to be. Like, it's not like people don't do them not because it's not there. They don't do them because they've already done them. They're just too lazy or whatever. And that's fine. Kings want to relax too. The point is the option's there for the value and the money that you're paying. So let me read some more things here. Sean Reed says, I'm in California on disability at $1, $1 at 1,700 US a month, and I'm broke like a joke. I want to go to the Philippines before the crap hits the fan. Oh my man, 1,700, you could live real nice in the Philippines anywhere, not just in the provinces or the small towns. You could live comfortably because you can get an apartment, a studio unit for 700, let's say, a month. You could get it for a lot less, but I'm saying on the maximum or higher end, a studio for 700 in Cebu City, IT Park, Davao City. You can get it in BGC, and these are like the most popular areas. And that money, you have $1,000. That's over 55,000 pesos to eat or do something a month. You'll live comfortably here. And the great thing about the Philippines, you can come here as a tourist and stay here up to 3 years without having to leave the country. Tell me a country that does that for you. Nowhere else. In Thailand, for example, you have 30 days. That's it. You have to extend it. Like 60 days maximum. Unless you get a visa before coming over, which will allow you for an additional 30 days. So let's say at best case scenario in Thailand, you get 3 months. Here you get 3 years, right? So it's a big difference. And you don't want to be jumping on a plane every month just so you can stay in a country, right? So Baki says, bro, you ever coming back to Thailand? Oh, never mind. That's what I was trying to show you. If you know, you know. Okay, so let me see. Let me get some comments out here. SKA Punk says alternative living. I don't think it's a guarantee that you can live like a king in the Philippines. Remember, the Philippines is a developing country. That means they change and become like the West. Yeah, of course. I mean, come on. I think it's common knowledge or common sense. You're never gonna just stay like stagnant, right? Like any country developing. I just think the Philippines developing a bit slower than most Southeast Asian countries. And I don't know much about it, but I think it had a lot to do with government corruption or just people focusing the budget on different things. It's developing, but it's just only small areas. Like I know there's a lot of investment being made into the Philippines, but it's going to take decades before you see the actual results, right? So I don't think anyone coming over here should really worry about that. Yeah, it's going to get expensive at some point, but for now, you can still live comfortably here. Like, show me another place in the U.S. or Canada where you can have your own apartment for $300. Because just because I'm paying 6 or 5 or 4 doesn't mean you can't find cheaper ones. There's a lot of options. All you got to do is go 1 kilometer any direction from the city center, and your price drops dramatically and drastically. You want to live on $100 on rent? You can do that. You can rent yourself a room with a fan and a bathroom for only 5 to 8,000 pesos if you really want to. Just because I don't doesn't mean you can't find these things. So yeah, I live a very comfortable life. It's because I can afford it and I want to, and I don't want to downgrade when I'm here. But if the budget is really your thing, you could stretch your dollar as far as you want or as short as you want in the Philippines. There are places where I'm sure you can spend 10, 20,000 pesos a night just to have dinner and drinks with some friends. You can do that if you want. But the option of just eating for $1 a day basically is here as well. If you just want a piece of chicken and rice, boom, you got it. You want to try some local dishes, 70 pesos, $1 for a whole plate of food, right? You can do whatever you want here. Yeah, hey, Timothy is here. What's going on, Alex from St. Cloud, Minnesota? Timothy, that place is always going to remind me of you from now on. Johnny Ringo says, I agree, $100,000 isn't a lot nowadays. However, I hope to live on that comfortably of course, you can live very comfortably on that in Asia. You can live very comfortably for a quarter of that in Asia. Baki knows what's up. Philip Massey, hey Alex, I agree that the biggest advantage of the Philippines is the visa. I would like to also explore Thailand, Vietnam, and Malaysia, though. Yeah, so I think you guys should do what I do. So I would recommend people that want to come Southeast Asia. You're already all the way to the eastern side of the world. You did the hard part. You sat in a plane for 14 hours and did another 6 or 7 hours after the connecting flight or whatever. So you're already here. Why not explore, man? You stay here in the Philippines, get yourself like a unit or whatever, make this your base, and then jump around. Go to Thailand for a month, go to Vietnam for a month, Malaysia, Cambodia, any of these Laos, maybe not Myanmar right now because of the political instability, but regardless, jump around, see which country actually suits you, which culture, which food, which day-to-day life. Because once like the honeymoon phase is over, once you've seen some things, can you sit there and live there daily? Are these annoyances going to get to you? Are the people friendly enough that everything else becomes obsolete, right? Because some people like myself, yeah, there are difficulties in the Philippines, there are challenges, there's some times where I get impatient, or I lose my patience, or I just don't understand why a certain thing operates in a certain way. But I still pick the Philippines to live there because the people are so friendly, because I meet people on a daily basis, because English is so prominently spoken, and I don't got to worry about me leaving the country. So a lot of positives about the Philippines. Yeah, is it like polluted some areas? Of course. Does the trash garbage bother me? Very much so. What about the stray animals, the dogs? It breaks my heart. The whole street is filled with stray dogs and nobody takes care of. So those kinds of things, if you're able to like accept the country for what it is, maybe make changes in areas that you have control over, then everything else is fine. But nowhere's perfect. So I'd rather be here right now, at least at this stage of my life, than back home paying some guy, exchanging my time just to survive and live there, right? So, but that's just me. Not everybody's in my position. I understand that. I'm not judging people or telling people what to do. But if you have the ability, if you're in a dead end job that you don't really care about, if you're young enough, nobody's depending on you for income, take a chance, man. Take a risk. Come out here, do something. The world is a big place now, but really small at the same time because of internet. If you can find a job online and earn USD, hard currency, but spend in pesos or Thai baht, yeah, I'll go a long way. Baki said I drink the same brand. I think he's talking about the water. Philip Massey says, I heard that the Philippines isn't great when it comes to customer service. Do you think that relates to the wages, low wages? Um, I don't know what it is, but it is trash. Like customer service in the Philippines is really bad. You just have to accept it and get used to it. If you're super hungry, don't go somewhere expecting to get food right away, unless it's a fast food joint. It's just not. I think it comes down from the top, from basically training, management, low wages, island time, cultural norms. All these things contribute to lack of good customer service. So I think the fact that Filipinos, when they go out, they go out in bunches and families. They talk, they explore. The urgency was never really there, and because it's developing so fast, I think many people are still stuck a little bit into that sense of non-urgency. There's no need for that urgency. Low wages, but that's the norm here. It's not like they're making low wages while the rest of the country is making high wages, right? So for what they do, it's still the standard. So I wouldn't really like correlated to low wages. I just think it's based off everything else I just mentioned. That's why you can cook at home, right? I highly recommend anybody living in the Philippines long term. Don't put up. I mean, a lot of places are improving. I've noticed as well. A lot of people, especially the Western restaurants, they hear these things and they try to make changes. And but it takes time. It doesn't happen just slowly. I mean, quickly, right? But I think the biggest thing is just a lack of training. Because labor's cheap. They bring these people to be servers or cooks or whatever. They toss them in the kitchen in the restaurant, and then they pay them a certain amount without really investing in them, right? Because to be a good server, a good cook, a good waiter, a good anybody in the food and beverage industry or a hospitality industry, you got to train them. You don't just you're not born knowing all these things. Some of these people barely eat out. You don't know they don't learn from experience, for example, right? So a lot of factors. But low wages, I think, sure may play a role in it, but it's not the main factor in my opinion. Yeah, Gurkha says more likely the laid back culture of the Philippines. I think that's the customer service thing. AI Art Collective says I went to the Philippines Fest in NTC, um, and spent 24 bucks on lechon. I'm sure I could find better in Cebu. Yeah, Definitely. Lechon and Cebu is everywhere. I've heard some places, I don't eat pork. I wish I did so I could taste like the authentic Filipino cuisine. And that's another thing. It's not fair for me to judge because since I don't eat pork and I'm not a fan of seafood, I pretty much cut out most of the main dishes, right? So for me, yeah, lechon is everywhere in Cebu. I think it will be delicious, I'm sure, compared to wherever you ate it. Ska Punk Alternative Living says, are the women in the Philippines becoming modernized and becoming, I guess you mean modernized and becoming like the women in the West because most of them you interviewed the other day are all single, just like the women in the West. So that's a great question, and I'm gonna briefly talk about a couple of these points. But before I do, guys, uh, you don't like me or something? I only see 16 likes with 100 people. Hit that like button right there somewhere, so we get more people on this live stream. The women in the Philippines, I have seen even in the past 5 years a slight change in attitude or accessibility, or I don't know what it is. But first of all, women here, when they say they're single, they just mean they're not married. So keep that in mind. And I think that's a big factor because when we in the West, when we talk about being single, it means do you have a boyfriend, a significant other, a guy or girl in your life is what we mean. But here, either they hide behind that veil of political technicality or religious technicality or marital status thing. But I found with my experience, a lot of times when people say they're single, they just mean they're not married, as in like a marital status, they're single. So, and I think a lot of women, just like anywhere else in the world, they want to keep that option open. Is this sexy, handsome, interviewing man gonna ask me out after? I'm gonna say single, right? But you get the idea, right? They, unless people see people casually, they're never gonna think their boyfriend's gonna watch that video. They might just say it to be a joke. So I don't heavily. It's not very accurate, right? So these interviews are mainly for entertainment, right? It's just for me to show you guys some women here. Just show. I have a video coming out maybe in a couple weeks where I secretly hit a camera and interacted with women. Of course, I asked for the permission afterwards so I could post it. They said yes. But the point of that was to like show that how friendly people are even without the camera. Because that's been said to me a couple times. Oh, they're just friendly to you because you have a camera. Filipinos love it, so that's why they're friendly. Nah, they're just friendly for reals. So I have that coming out soon. But modernized, westernized, I see it happening. It's just natural, right? With the rise of internet, with more accessibility to the internet, with the country developing, therefore people having more money to go into the cities and get jobs and meet people and interact with foreigners. It's just a matter of time. And whether it's me with a camera, some next dude, or just them being on TikTok 24/7 or Facebook, or just seeing clips from around the world, women are just generally becoming more westernized and modernized. But all you got to do really is take a 1 hour ride any which direction from the main cities, and you'll go back at least 15 years, 20 years, and find women that are just not as modernized. So there's so many options. AI Art Collective meant NYC earlier with the lechon. Got it. Baki says, a little addition to the Thai visa. I came here on a 30-day visa on arrival and signed up for a language school. And they helped sponsor my 1 year education visa. It cost 50,000 baht, but Philippines 3 year visa, awesome. Yeah, Baki, excellent point. So there are ways around that 30-day visa thing. If you want to stay for a year here, all you got to do pay about 1,000 bucks, or let's just say not 50,000 baht, it's like $1,500. Let's just make it even and say 1,800. So 1,800 for the year, right? So that's about 150 bucks a month to stay in Thailand. Just add it to your cost of living, and you save so much money. Because if you're here a year in Thailand, then you know you're going to be in Thailand for a year. Then you can rent a place long term, which reduces your cost of living. I mean, sorry, reduces your rent. So you just put that money towards the visa, right? So that's an excellent option. If you know for sure you're going to be in Thailand for a year because you just love it, spend a little bit of money, get that education visa. In Chiang Mai, they got like a Muay Thai visa. You go on the weekends, kick some ass, or just practice a little bit of training, and then you go back home and you get to stay here for a year. Also, if you're someone like myself that's got some credentials, even if you don't, Thai people, they'll hook you up. If you find the right school, become a part-time teacher, become an English teacher, regardless of your age, right? Not only do you get paid, you get to stay in the country for a year because a lot of times they offer you a 1 year work visa. So options are there. And if you're, because most of us, not most of us, some of us don't have that retirement fund, we can't just be retired in the Philippines. We don't qualify. We don't have the money. So we got to find other ways to stay here long term. Anyhow, I'm going to continue reading these comments because they're really helping me get through this live stream. So I appreciate it. Whoever wants to ask me a question, feel free to do so. Whoever's liking this, like it. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. I make videos mainly about interviews around the Philippines, but also I'm going to continue traveling again. I'm going to bring a lot more content from Thailand, Cambodia, wherever I travel to. So yeah, stay tuned. Discerning Dash says, I saw a three-bedroom house for rent in Talise for 500 bucks. It's a nice place. Um, Thailand does not want us to give us your money and get out. I'm all for every month. I'll have 4K every month when moved to Philippines. Military payment, no work. Excellent. Yeah, I've always said, why not be in a country that wants you there, right? So Thailand's got a different. I mean, you can't really compare Thailand to the Philippines when it comes to tourism. They're just so far apart. Thailand has mainstream or streamlined their services. I mean, they have the world class airports and everything is set for people to come spend their money and bounce. Philippines is different. I think they want you there long term or longer. And I don't know why that is or what's going on. Maybe they'll change. I mean, already, one thing I've really not liked about the Philippines recently, a lot of the immigration offices are stopped giving 6 month extensions. You just have to go there more once at an additional time or just do it online. Regardless, I think it's maybe I see the logic behind it. They just want people to maybe apply for the 6 month extension online. But a lot of people are not tech savvy. They don't use computers that often. They're older gentlemen. Now they got to take an extra trip to go get that extension. I don't think it's going to affect tourism that much, but why take a step backwards, right? So I just feel like maybe they should reconsider that. Or maybe I want to go to, actually, I want to, but I won't. I want to go to talk to someone like the head honcho or do an interview with them why they decided to do that. But that's neither here nor there. So, Suri K says, have you had any experience with hospital or medical system there? How did it go? No, but I did do a lab, like I did a blood work. Did I do blood work? No, I didn't do, hold on, what did I do? Um, I went to, I think it was during COVID. I went to a lab once, got some results within like a day. Cost me like 15 bucks. It was very. My point is, if you have insurance or just money set aside for health care, things are much more affordable in the Philippines. I've heard some nightmare stories, but I don't know if I trust them. I don't know if they're accurate. It's hearsay. People that die on the way to the hospital. I'm sure it's happened because they live so far out in the province, and by the time somebody got to them, it was just too late. But I feel like as an older person or someone with health issues, you should seriously consider that as well, right? It's your responsibility to have proper people around you or be near a hospital in case something happens. I'm not gonna blame the guy for it, but I'm saying it's understandable why it happened, but also if you know that you're living so far away from the hospital, maybe you should have a plan in place in case something happens to you, right? But no, I've not had really any experience with that. Huh? Wait, sorry, one sec. Yeah, I just woke up. So, um, what are we talking about? Oh, the comments. Whoa, Metaman says, I have family here and I've lived here for 10 years. Unfortunately, I had to come back to the UK. Love the place. Yeah, that's another thing. A lot of times people come here and they get hooked, right? To the Philippines, to Southeast Asia. That's what happened to me when I came here like 10 years ago. And when I first went to Thailand, I'm just like, yep, this is the life I want. And I made it happen. So unfortunately, Meta had to go back for family reasons, but hopefully you can return. Um, Douglas Chat says most travel live streamers don't wear much clothing. I'm glad you are fully dressed. Okay. No surprise shirtless here. Okay. Well, yeah, thanks. I mean, I don't know. People keep saying I should get oiled up, but no, I mean, that's funny. Live streams are becoming different on YouTube. They really pushing this vertical format. So if someone's watching this after the live stream is over and you're surprised by just having like a basically like a short format. It's because YouTube is really wanting us to do this, so I'm doing it. You got to change with the times, you know. Siri K says, "I feel the West has done a great job of teaching us how to to be impatient. Yeah, enjoy the moment. Exactly that too. But that comes from a lot of things, right? People are so busy in the West working that they need things done fast, right? Because they have only 3 or 4 hours within the day to do anything for themselves. So they expect things to be done and completed in a fast-paced way, right? So when you come here and people are just they don't live your lifestyle back home, so it's just different cultures. The sooner you accept it, the less stressed you're gonna be, right? You're not gonna change the whole country by being angry because something took too long. Meta Man says, I don't mean to pry, but how are you earning to be able to live in the Philippines full time? No, it's not prying. I'm transparent. I'll tell you guys. It's because of YouTube. I make money from YouTube. I make money from having over 135,000 subscribers, from putting videos out every 3 days. I'm out there hustling essentially. Every day I do like interviews. I put in the work, I edit the videos, I upload them, and I get paid through all the ads that you see on my YouTube videos, right? So because of people like yourself, people that watch and support, and like sometimes people send like super thanks and super stickers and whatever. So if somebody finds the video very informative or enjoyable, you can press that little heart with the money in it, and you can send an amount of money from what else from sponsorships, like my suitcase is sponsored. What else? My insurance is sponsored. So there's a lot of ways. My translating device is sponsored. So my, I don't know. I have another one too. But so I build up this channel to the point where it's earning me some money, and that's what I use to live here. And for the Philippines, it's enough to live comfortably. Love my little babe says shout out to my friend Lech in Canada. Shout out to him or her. Jeff says, I found that being in the cities here in the Philippines, especially a place like BGC, you get better service than any province areas. At least to me, it feels that way. Definitely. And that's for a reason because it's filled with like rich people, foreigners, high class restaurants. It's just more modern, and you can't have someone serving with because they know people are coming in, they're expecting a certain type of service, but you're also paying for it, right? Obviously, the price of the food and rent goes up, so it just kind of comes with the territory. I would have to agree, although I've been to the provinces just very short term through travels, like holidays and stuff like that to go to the beach. I've noticed the same thing, Jeff. Ali H says, "Where is a clean city to live in the Philippines?" From my personal experience, I thought Davao City was clean as well as San Carlos, but I'm sure there's a ton of places that I've never been to. Metaman says, "Be careful. Make sure you're with a single woman who's not already married, because a lot of women, a lot of times, the women are married as there's no divorce in the country." That's a very important thing. There's a lot of other channels that talk about this that have more experience than I do. I don't date married women, single moms, or women that are in their 30s, basically, um, just because of stuff like this, right? So it's not even that I'm dating, but like if I was, there's certain things that they have to meet, and that's a big one because people get married here and they don't get divorced, so they're still technically married, and adultery is like you can get in prison for that. So it's a big, big problem because the guy can come back and then it could be a big issue, right? So be sure you can ask for a seminar, whatever it is. It proves a woman if she's married or not. It's like a document in the Philippines you can get to show the woman's marital status. Hey, Sap Nan is here. Long time no see. Hello from Kuwait. Sorry, just woke up. It's okay. I just woke up a couple hours ago too. I mean, man, that's one thing. It's been 37 years or whatever old I am. I thought by now I could be a morning person. I'm still not. It takes me a super long time to wake up. I don't know why. No matter how much sleep I get, oh, I'm not a morning person. Kurt says hi. Hello. Scott Punk says, if I came to the Philippines, could I do a van life because I live alternatively right now? And if I came to the Philippines, I live in my van, which will save me a lot of money. How about that? It will, but the Philippines rent is so cheap, you really don't need to, right? So but there is a possibility of van life here. It's not as convenient, I'm sure, as it is wherever you're from. But I did an interview a few months ago with a girl that just started the first van life, like van type company. I forgot her. Oh, my phone's dead. Uh, but I'm trying to think what. Oh yeah. So go ahead on my playlist. Check out the video called "Do Asian Women Like Facial Hair?" or "Do Filipinos Like Facial Hair?" or something like that. And there's a girl there that I put her Instagram handle and her business name in there. That she's the first person in Cebu to start like renting out vans for van life, that kind of stuff. So unless you're gonna buy your own, I don't know, but it's possible, it's doable. Would you do it? Should you do it? I don't know because I've never lived in a van. But yeah, definitely, there's no need here because rent is so cheap. If that's why you're doing it. Can of Bean says you have brownout issues in Cebu. So a brownout is like a blackout when the electricity goes out. I've been there for like 5 years overall, like not 5 years total, but in and out, probably at least 2.5 years of actually living in the Philippines, and I've only experienced two, maybe three brownouts in my whole time there. So in Cebu City itself, it's not an issue because it's like a major area for all those call centers and the businesses that operate from IT Park. So I think they really ensured that brownouts and blackouts are not a thing there. Plus, some of the units or apartments have backup generators, so it doesn't affect you too much. Ah, Surrey case, an excellent question. What was your biggest fear when you started to travel full time? Um, when I first started, I had no fear because I really wanted to explore and experience. And this was like 5 years ago. There was some time for me to do trial and error. I had a job when I started, so I was working online as an English teacher. So I knew I had income. Like realistically and genuinely speaking, my biggest fear was not having stable internet. Therefore, I could not do my job and be fired and not have proper income. Because when I was working for a Chinese company, and Chinese people don't play around when it comes to work. You got to be there on time and not miss a single day, not even be late a minute. So that was really stressful for me. I'll be honest. But then a blessing in disguise happened. The whole industry got shut down. I got laid off in the middle of a class essentially. They blocked everybody's contacts, so I couldn't even contact my students to try to offer them private lessons. But I still managed to work. I had some people I taught privately. And then that's when the channel really started because I'm like, I gotta first it started because I was documenting my travel, but I'm like, that's when I start focusing more on the channel. That's when I start putting more effort in, and that's why it paid off eventually. So sometimes when something bad happens to you, when a door closes or window shuts or whatever, we know what they say, another door opens. So it was like a blessing in disguise, an opportunity that I didn't really realize at the time. So that was a fear of mine. Now I think these days the only fear I have essentially is like not if I'm making the right choice. It's like FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. Like back home, am I missing out on an opportunity, on something? But then every time I go back, it's like a reminder how much I was unhappy living that lifestyle. But no, I really don't have any fears these days. Unless you're talking about a cockroach. These suckers are like this big down here. But like, no, really, honestly, everything I'm physically healthy. I'm mentally stable. I think I'm financially fine. I have options if something does happen. Even if YouTube shuts down or they completely ban my channel for whatever reason, or they say, you know what, we're not going to pay people anymore. Whatever reason happens. Luckily, being from Canada, being a man, physical body, able body, I could find something to do. I'm sure. And when I say being from Canada, I mean because the passport's strong. I'm a native English speaker, so obviously there are more opportunities for me anywhere. Alternative Living says, we appreciate you, my friend. Just the fact that you're answering our questions. I love your channel even more, my friend. You're awesome. Keep up these. Thank you so much. Yeah, of course. Like a lot of people, I'll be honest. Actually, never mind. I don't want to talk about other people's live streams, but I do this to connect with my viewers, to connect with you guys, to provide any kind of information, any way to help you overcome whatever fear or like obstacle, any kind of hurdle that you have about traveling or living in Asia or even visiting in Asia, even just to say hi to you. I don't know, maybe you're having a shitty day and you just need someone to say hello. I'm here for everybody because I know you guys are the ones that are watching my videos. If it wasn't for you, because you guys, I wouldn't be making money. I would like just so I'm 100% like this in real life. A lot of people I meet in public, and we just sit down, have a coffee or a lunch or something, and honestly, it's some of the best feelings because I know deep down we all want to connect on some level, right? So, and not everybody has that opportunity because they might have some dependents at home. They might be stuck in a job. They might like, you can't just get up and leave the country. It's not that easy for everybody, and because it becomes irresponsible as well, right? Because you want to not affect other people. It's not just you. In my life right now, it's just me, which I'm lucky with that. Some people have, people they got to answer to one way or another. Uh, Kurt says, I have been in the Philippines 5 times already in the last couple years. Awesome. Kurt, I think it's time you make that move, son. Bring that ass over and just stay. He says the hospitals in the province don't have all the modern equipment. I've heard that as well. So, depending on how your medical situation, how bad it is, I think understanding that you should actually look into the hospital situation is important. So if you have medical issues or whatever, go ahead and maybe just visit the hospital, see what they got going on. I don't know. But I know if I was a bit older or had some medical issues, that would be my priority as well. So no matter what I say, you should definitely do your own due diligence in the Philippines. Okay, 100 and something people watching still. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ask your questions. And if you're feeling super generous, use your super thanks or super stickers, whatever that is. And let's go on to the next question. Let's do crazy things. Says go to bed. No, buddy, I just woke up. I had a great sleep, deep sleep, and I'm still like, you know, woozy, man. I'm feeling woozy. Let's see. Nope. That's their name. Says, I'm new to your channel. Would you travel alone? Is the language barrier difficult? Buddy, I've been traveling alone for 5 years now. I left 2019, and I mean, I've met a lot of friends along the way. I've traveled with people. I stayed with people. I mean, yeah, but initially and typically, I do travel alone. The language barrier has not been an issue in any country. Okay, yeah, places like Vietnam, Georgia, uh, maybe even Indonesia, away from Bali. Like, trying to think what other language. Turkey. Uh, These places are really difficult because not many people speak English. But from day to day life, Google Translate, all the apps that we have, the phone that's in your hand is like magic. You can take a taxi without having to say a single word. You can order food without having to say a single word. You can rent a place by simply using Google Translate. Um, I've not had any issues. Honestly, like you'll be fine just using your phone to communicate if communication is an issue. Can of Bean says, if you had serious money, rich man level money, would you stay in the Philippines? I would not. Personally, because for me, I want to see every country in the world. So if I had serious money, because the Philippines does help the YouTube channel, that's a factor of why I'm in there. But if I had unlimited money, I would not stay just because there's so many places to visit and see, and like I just want to explore as many places as possible. For that reason alone, I would not stay. Whether okay, let's say I travel to every country and I've seen everything. Would I stay in the Philippines? I think I would, in only because like there's so many places I haven't seen. So I want to go to like some of the bougie ass places, the rich people places. I want to see how like the rich, high society Filipinos live like. But to stay anywhere, honestly, I don't think so. No, because there's so many other places in the world. Like it's really difficult. I want to stay for the people if I could bring the Filipino people with me some places. But I think some of the infrastructure and the humidity alone is just too much for me to live comfortably for a long, long period of time. Next, good luck with your channel, bro. I will subscribe. MetaMan says, thank you, MetaMan. Um, Paige says, are you gay? I am not gay. Silly Billy, hello. Just Lawyer, hello. Alex, hello. Uh, being devout, it was interesting. Yeah, it was. Uh, Welco Delivery says, can you take your furniture with you? Yeah, you can, but I wouldn't. The amount of money it's going to cost you to ship furniture to the Philippines or Asia, we're better off just selling it there and buying new ones here. Plus, most places come furnished anyways. I mean, of course, you can do whatever you want in the place and bring your own furniture, but I personally would have recommended the amount of time and money it takes to transfer furniture and the hassle, the headache, and the taxes and the import and this and that, all that. It's just too much work for me. Unless you're sitting on gold, like literally on gold sofas. I know some people got some serious expensive furniture, but even then, I still wouldn't do it. That's just me, though. I don't know. Vernon says, "Is it true that 10 a.m. to 3 a.m. is hot as hell? So do you have to make sure your AC is around that time?" It is hot, especially those times, especially in the summer. Depend on which side of, like, some you get lucky that the sun might go across this way and it doesn't hit your window. But if your unit's facing towards the sun at any part of the day, it's even worse. It gets hot. I could not do it without AC. Some people do it, but at least have a fan. So if you want to save on electric bill, if you not want to be like hot, turn your AC on whenever you want, but also have a fan available for when you're sleeping. I can sleep with a fan on. I don't need the AC. So I do that to save a little bit of money because having the AC on 24/7 is just going to drain your bank account. No matter how cost effective your unit is, it's just too much. And people go to the malls and other places to basically mitigate some of that cost, I'm sure. Hmm. Final Countdown says the trolls are alive and well in chat. You're nicer than me because I'd boot them. Yeah, it's too much work to boot them on every single one. Trolls are on here because, like I mentioned, YouTube is pushing this to a lot more newer viewers. So it's not my regular crowd of people. It's not my usual subscribers. People are just checking in and out, and most of them are probably kids, and they want to say some funny stuff. So I don't mind. Philip Massey said, "What's the best food available in Cebu?" I would assume it's the lechon. Like Cebu is known for the pig roast lechon, but for me personally, since I don't eat it, I just go to the Sugbo Mercado in IT Park, which is like a night market, and it's got a variety of local and international foods, and I choose something different every night from there. Zenaida says, "Nice." Thank you. I think you're trying to say my face looks nice, right? Let's see. Jess says, "I can't ever eat any street food. It just doesn't appeal to me. Amazing, though, how many people claim it's a great cuisine. It's not. But don't get me wrong, the Philippines is amazing." Well, street food in the Philippines is not amazing to me, but street food in other places is. Street food in the Philippines, it's got a long way to go before I could call it amazing for myself. I personally don't eat any street food anymore in the Philippines. I got sick once, and I find other options now because, and also street food in the Philippines, a lot of it tends to be similar. There's not many variety in it, and so for the Philippines itself, street food isn't my number one. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna sit here and just talk a lot of BS just because I don't want to offend people or something, but that's just the truth. And I think anyone that's traveled to any other country outside the Philippines would agree. Zuropa. Hi, Alex. Hi, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. Hello, and welcome to the live stream. Seb Nunn says, "I'm glad that you still remember me, Alex. How's your Bisaya learning so far? You should do more vids about learning Tagalog Bisaya with the locals." I should. But the problem is, like, here's the thing. I'm going to be honest. I just don't see the need because I'm going to go ahead and say everyone speaks English. So when you're in a country where people just speak the language you speak, it's just very difficult to find the motivation to learn a whole nother language. But yeah, I agree. I should, and it would be fun, but I'm busy, I'm lazy. It's a combination of a whole bunch of stuff. So, whoa, Jess Loya, look at that. Let me go ahead and how do I pin this? So this is what I'm talking about. Thank you so much, Jess. I appreciate that $10. So people like Jess, for example, that find the videos informative, enjoyable, whatever, and they want to show the support for the channel, they send the super thanks, the super stickers, which is another way that YouTubers like myself and other people make an income, right? So yeah, it means a lot. So thank you so much, Jess. D-Man says, "Coming from Florida, I'm used to hot and humid weather, but living in LA, the colder temperatures are a challenge. Given this, do you think I could handle the heat in the Philippines?" I think so. It's really like it's not unbearable. Like it is, but it isn't. Like there's ways of mitigating the heat, right? You can carry an umbrella, you can stay hydrated, you can try to stay indoors as much as possible. You can wear sun lotion obviously to protect your skin, and worst case scenario, turn on your AC, right? So for us Westerners, there's always ways of trying to mitigate the heat and like make your stay more comfortable. I think you'll be fine. For me, I still haven't been acclimated to the weather. It's just my body's weird, man. I don't know. I was hoping by now, but still, like even because I've been out every day, I got a nice tan going here. The heat isn't so bad in the Philippines right now, but I know Thailand's like scorching hot now. It's getting to the summer, you know, time. Sorry guys if I missed any of these. Hey, AI Art Collective. I didn't know that you can still remain a moderator, even though I appointed you last time. But thank you for helping me get rid of some of these trolls and comments. Much appreciated. I missed a bunch of these messages. Sorry, guys. Like, give me a second. I'm gonna get back to. Let me get to Jess's message here. Jess says, you can really stay in great shape by walking in the middle of the day. Since Manila has so much to offer, no other place I'll rather be. Yeah, Manila, some places are really, really walkable. I remember when I was there, I was surprised because it's such a huge city, right? It just comes down to you as well. I know sidewalks needs to be improved in the Philippines as a whole, and generally speaking, but places like Manila that have like parks. I was surprised how many parks there was, historical places, the whole BGC area, the Makati, like this, the malls themselves. You can walk days and days inside the malls, right? So you can stay in shape by just walking. And there are places if you just look for it and do your own research and a little bit of effort. A lot of times I see a lot of foreigners come on here and say, oh, this and that and complain. Yeah, I get it. Those things are happening and true, but they're not that bad if you just decide to take a little action, take some initiative, take some responsibility, do something about it, right? If there's no sidewalks, okay, are you trying to walk somewhere? Or is it for exercise? Are you trying to, like, just go to the mall, perhaps take it? This is ways around things, I get it. It happens, but also there's alternatives and options. And like Jess is saying, you can walk, and it's true. I remember walking from like, yeah, it's a lot of stuff, and you lose a lot of weight by just sweating, because you can exercise in the heat. It's like, yeah, I get it. Sorry, guys, I got to go back up here. I missed a whole bunch of comments. Okay. Leo Cruz says, Matt, may I ask, what do you do for work? And thanks for sharing. This is my work. So YouTube's my full-time job now. And that's my work. That's how I make a living, by providing content that's hopefully entertaining and informative at the same time. So, Grr, Psycho says, hi, hello. Scott Punk, Alternative Living, saying, this is an awesome channel. Guys, get the likes up. Give this guy a lot of likes. Thank you. Thank you. No, you guys are like wonderful. Like, honestly, I do this firstly to just connect with you guys. Number one, I want people to like understand the person behind these videos, because a lot of times it's just entertainment, right? It's not. I'm not out there with a certain bias or try to be really politically one way or the other. I don't even believe in politics, or just to make shocking content. I think people deep down, they just want to have this like understanding of each other. So if I can answer your questions, if you guys can ask me questions, if I can talk about living like a king in the Philippines, because that's what I'm going to do from now on, a live stream after the main video and the next day. So kind of, talk about it. And the guy, people kept saying, oh, he's not disabled. Why is he living? Buddy, not all disability is physical. The people that have severe disabilities that's inside, either mentally, emotionally, and internally, that you can't see. You should never judge somebody and say they're not something just because you don't see it. And he already put in the work, just because the government's going to pay him the same money whether he's in the US or in the Philippines, and he decides to do something about his condition. It's not his fault that the salary or his income doesn't meet minimum living standards in the US. So instead of bitching, whining, and complaining and living on the streets, the man took his life in his own hands and brought it to the Philippines. Now he's contributing to their economy and living a great life. So if people don't understand that, they just don't know enough to be talking about it. And when you find someone that genuine that talks that much truth, you're gonna find people that are gonna be obviously against it, because you got to remember, just because you don't agree with me doesn't mean we have to fight about something, right? There's always a middle ground, right? That's why a lot of times in the U.S. and Canada, we forget people can disagree and still be civil. There's nothing wrong with me saying, hey, this, and you saying no, the other, but that's fine. That's your opinion, that's your experience, that's your beliefs, and this is mine. Like, we don't always have to like be equal on every term. So yeah, this live stream is based on that too. If anybody has questions about Brian's experience, where when I made that video, he talked for 27 minutes. I let him just go off and tell me exactly what he thinks, and it turned out great. It's got a lot of views, a lot of comments, a lot of feedback, which is amazing. Bye, Psycho. Have a great night, day, everyone, and have a great life. Thank you. Leo Cruz says, we want you to make money because your channel has good information. Keep up the good job. Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of time, but this is what I do. Everybody's got to put in the work one way or the other. Very few of us are born into fortune and wealth and are lucky in that sense. But then again, I ask myself, would I really enjoy life if I just had money when I was born? Like, would you actually really care if you see something beautiful or eat a nice meal? Because that'll be your normal thing every day, right? So for me, visiting a new city, a new location, trying a new restaurant, a new recipe, that is priceless. Like, I would not change that for anything. And I think being aware of these things, it really helps me just navigate my daily life and visit different countries. But that's a whole nother story. Zuropa 84 says, I have enjoyed watching your interviews and learning about the real everyday people's perspective. I came across a video about Valencia, Philippines being a great place. Have you been there yet? I know Valencia is close to Dumaguete. I've not been there. I know it's a favorite of a lot of the expats and older gentlemen that are living there. I personally haven't visited there because every time I went to Dumaguete it was for only like 2 or 3 days. I never got a chance to go to Valencia, but I have heard many good things. So, and I don't have enough information to say yes or no. But if everybody's saying it's good, it must have something, right? So, Wellsco Delivery says, I actually am moving to the Philippines. I'm just tying up some loose ends. Amazing. Wellsco, I hope you have a wonderful trip, a safe trip, a happy trip. Trying to give you some tips if I can, but I think there's enough information out there for you to be well prepared, hopefully. I would say to obviously cancel any subscriptions you have. Make sure you have multiple sources of income, like a debit card and a credit card with you. Make sure you tell your credit cards and debit cards that you cannot receive SMS unless you figure that out. So you can verify yourself through email or another way in case you have to access your banking, uh, taxes, and all that. So you can still file your taxes from any country you're living in. You can still file it in the US, right? Or Canada, I just assume you're from there. What else? Something that I wish I knew before I traveled. Nothing really, honestly. Everything is manageable these days through internet. What? Vincent Valen Vincente Valenzuela or something. I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't know why I said it that way. He says, love your content, bro. I need to learn more Spanish. Spanish? Why Spanish? The Philippines and Thailand are calling my name. Okay, well, welcome, man. Amazing countries. Philippines, Thailand, beautiful. Jay says, if you were a dual citizen, what would you do differently in the Philippines? I think the only thing I would do differently is just open a bank account so I can access money without paying some of the fees. I don't know if I'll buy land, but you can never go, well, not never. Most of the time, most of the time, buying land can be profitable. I might consider something like that. Um, Dual citizen to the Philippines. I don't think there's much that I would do differently, to be honest. I don't have any restrictions really when it comes to the Philippines. I live very comfortably, but I'm also a very simple person. Like, I don't, yeah, there's nothing really holding me back from doing much here. Leo says, did you visit any universities in the Cebu? I did not. I did not because although I'm still relatively young, I still feel like a creep hanging around universities. I just had no reason to. I don't want to walk on campus and be like, hey, what up? I don't know. I think obviously people I've spoken to have been in university or even as young as 18, but it's not like I went looking for them, and I felt I didn't have a reason to go to the universities, and my interviews I could do from anywhere else. I wanted to visit. I should have visited. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I just haven't by chance. That's all. Jay says, I'm half Filipino, dual citizen, Euro, and Philip. I'm trying to crack out some idea for the Philippines in the future. Currently have some properties from parents in the islands. Yeah, that's amazing. The fact that you have property is a big bonus of being a dual citizen because if you don't know, you can't really own land as a foreigner. You can own a house, but not a land. It's got to be in a Filipino's name. So Jay here has got best of both worlds. I want to give a big shout out once again to AI Art Collective, who is constantly weaning out some of these trolls. I appreciate that. Loco to Origins or Orige says, bro is well spoken and smart. Not just a pretty face, my man. I'm kidding. Thank you so much. Mark says, hi, Poe. Buongiorno. Hey, Timothy. Hello, Alex from St. Cloud, Minnesota. Surrey Case with the deep questions. He says, what is your most memorable experience in 2023? 2023. What did I do? I can't remember nothing, man. Oh, the most memorable thing, I guess, was my trip to Dubai. I went to visit some family and I finally got to see what the big huss and fuss was about. It was memorable because it was exactly how you'd imagine it, and you get to see things that you could only see on Instagram, maybe. Um, it was only cool to see because it was like a paradox, It's like you're in the middle of a desert and you can see camels, but you look to your left and you see the tallest building in the world, right? So it's kind of like maybe, I don't know, it was just a weird, and it was like you're kind of living in a dream, And I'm like, I don't know, I experienced some things that I don't think I would have otherwise if it wasn't for visiting family in Dubai because it's not a place that really sticks out of my mind. I'm not one of those people that's very materialistic or care so much about fancy stuff. So I went there because of family, but I really enjoyed my trip because it was nice. It's exactly what people say. The places are beautiful. Things are very luxurious. It's like a playground for the rich. You see some things that you would not normally see. And it was better than I expected in that sense. So, but not a place I could see myself living. Even if I had money, I wouldn't choose to live there. So, yeah, kind of cool. And I got tickets for speeding multiple times. And that's a whole other thing. Watching from UK. Okay. Watching from Miami, Florida. I met Tyreek Hill once. Tyreek Hill? Tyreek Hill. Why does it sound familiar? Can't put a face to that name. Mel Patan says, if you love to walk, what are the best cities to live? Ooh, great question. I found like this. I could only speak for myself, right? So I found San Carlos to be really walkable. I don't know, just the way everything was. San Carlos and Negros was really it was very open and really clean, and it just seemed wider than most places. It seemed like a flat land, a lot more than hills and broken streets and all that. But there's a ton of places. Uh, Scott Punk Alternative Living says, when you come to the Philippines, your Social Security or your pension will be transferred from the US to the Philippines. This way, I can live off my pension when it's time to come. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know how that works, but I personally wouldn't even transfer nothing. I'll just keep accessing my money through my US bank, right? I don't know what the legalities of that is and what the requirements, the restrictions, any kind. So I'm not a lawyer. I wouldn't recommend you to do anything. But right now, I don't know. I don't even know if Canada knows I'm away from my home, right? Like they don't. I'm just on a long vacation, so I mean, I still file my taxes. I'm still self-employed. Everything I claim everything. So and okay, I don't have my OHIP Ontario Health Plan, but I don't visit the doctor anyway, so I just get it renewed when I go back. My driver's license is good for another 5 years. My passport I can renew at any embassy here, so I don't really, for me at this stage, yeah, whatever. Mabubu, Mabuba Ikramova says, hello, Iram Uzbek. Oh, you are Uzbek. I've always wanted to visit Uzbekistan. Why is the quality so bad? I don't know. Is it that bad? It looks good on my end, but probably because of the internet. Hey! Oh, okay. D-Man says, thank you for the answer regarding the heat. I don't mind sweating. It helps to rid the body of toxins and fat. I reckon I need a pool or to live near a waterfall. I'm a water baby at heart. Well, you won't be short of places in the Philippines. Man, water is everywhere. You just got to find a place that's actually accessible and swimmable, and it's not on private land or something. So, yeah, Jay says, very nice and insightful interviews. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate that. Carmen Polito says, what's your take on couples moving there? I think it's a great idea because if a couple moves to Asia or South or Philippines, you kind of like have everything already. Like a lot of people coming to find a woman, or so if you have a partner already, the hard work is done. Now you get to enjoy all the benefits of coming to Southeast Asia when it comes to cost of living, environment, adventure, food. So you're basically getting everything you wanted that everybody wants, and now with your significant other. I think it's a great idea. I mean, I think more couples should move and travel together than just single people because if you come here as a single person, honestly, traveling, the person that you're with makes all the difference. It doesn't matter where you're traveling to, but if the person with you is the one you want to be with, the one that makes you laugh, the one you can share stuff with, it doesn't matter if you're eating a $3 meal or a $300 meal because they are the making the whole experience much better. So if you have that person already, I think it's a great idea. Hey, Surrey Case, thank you for the $7, man. I appreciate it. He said, thank you for sharing your experiences. My pleasure. And thank you guys for supporting the channel by watching, by commenting, by liking, by donating the super thanks, super stickers. It really motivates me and shows me that you guys are enjoying this, appreciate it. And obviously goes a long way financially supporting what I do here, right? Because I'm going to tell you guys a day in the life of a YouTuber quickly if you guys want to know, in case somebody doesn't know by now. Just to be transparent or honest and whatever. So sometimes people say, "Oh, you're just exploiting these people for the Philippines, or you're making money off YouTube or something." I'm like, first of all, by now people should know that people make money off YouTube. I don't think there's a single person on here trying to hide the fact that the channel doesn't make money. Second of all, nobody's forcing anyone to be on camera. You know, most Filipinos love to be on social media. How many times have you watched my videos and people cannot stop laughing? I get comments all the time. Why do they laugh so much? Because they're happy people. And then lastly, I am promoting the Philippines by just showing, first of all, the people and all the good experiences people have. Although I don't tell people what to say, they say it themselves. That is honest reviews. I've never done a video where I recorded somebody and I didn't air it, you know? So every single interview I make, I post. I don't select these things. This is just how it is, right? And there are people that say some downsides of the Philippines. There are people that say, oh, I got scammed by a woman or whatever it is, right? So that aside, okay, so it's obvious that I make money and there's no way I'm exploiting people because they want to be on camera, they give me their permission, and they're informative. I let people know everything they need to know, like these live streams. And lastly, if you've never tried to edit a video, you would never understand. But if any of you guys ever tried to edit even like a 15, 30-second clip of anything, you see how much time and effort goes into making a video. I'm not here to, like patting myself on the back, but I want to tell you from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed, like YouTube and essentially work is on my mind. Okay, so when I wake up, okay, what am I posting today? What am I editing today? How do I go interview people today? I gotta make a thumbnail. I gotta make a description. I gotta cut this and do. There's a whole, and you gotta upload the video. I gotta go find a place with good internet if the file is too large. There's a hundred things that go into it, and that takes way more than like a 9 to 5 sometimes. but I still do it because I enjoy it, and I'm hoping you guys enjoy it. And lastly, if you really like the YouTuber and the content they are providing, why wouldn't you want to support them? Why wouldn't you want to see them grow? And one more lastly, whether the channel is monetized or not, YouTube's still making their money, right? So why wouldn't you want the content creator to get some of that? Because they're gonna display the ads anyways. And like even like if you buy YouTube Premium, the content creator gets a portion of that. So there's a whole back end of stuff like this. So one more thing, somebody's like, "Oh, why do you do interviews and you don't pay them or whatever, and then you make money off of it?" I'm like, buddy, I didn't force anybody. They want to share their story. They want to give people information. They want to give a heads up. And lastly, a lot of times, whoever I interview wants to either promote their own channel, number one, their products that they have, or business. Typically, my cost for a sponsor is 500 to $1,000 for 30 seconds. These people are getting a whole 18-minute video for free, essentially, right? So just so people know, yeah, that kind of stuff. I appreciate you guys sending money and liking a video, but it's not like I want to say there's a whole back end to it that people sometimes don't realize and they say these things. So yeah, I like it. The heck was that? I appreciate it. So let's go on to the next thing. Um, watch your language, Mister. Me? I don't know where that came from. Um, how about health insurance? Jay, another excellent question. Um, right now, I have safety wings for my health insurance because I don't have any medical. It's like more like travel insurance, but health insurance as well. It covers me for up to $250,000. It covers any hospitalization and emergencies, all that stuff. I've never had to use it, thankfully. I'm actually. It's funny because like I was using them before they reached out to me because now I'm an affiliate partner. So if you guys need health insurance, you could use my link and I'll get like a percentage of that money. So I use Safety Wing. I pay about $44 a month and it pretty much covers me for all that stuff. So that's what I use. But yeah, look into that or look into your own insurance. You might find something better for you. And depends on your age, right? Obviously, the older you are, the higher the insurance is going to be. Filipino vlogger says, "Hello, good morning, and to your viewers from Dipolog. I've heard of that place. I've never been. Man, the Philippines is so huge. I can't wait to explore more places." Ska Punk Alternative Living says, like he says, at the end of the day, you can make money anywhere in the world, but you got to put in the work. Exactly. It's a simple put in the work and you shall receive. It's like everything else, right? I can't eat like a pig for 37 years and then go to the gym for 2 weeks and expect results. You know, you gotta put in the work, and the same goes with working, right? You can't just begin a YouTube channel, put in a month of work, and realize you're not really growing, and then just quit. Well, yeah, maybe your channel has some issues, but the longer you put in the effort, the more results you're gonna get. And you can apply that to anything in life, even a relationship, right? You can't meet somebody on the first day and expect them to be your future. Maybe sometimes it happens, but usually you gotta actually work towards the goal, right? So Jay says Dumagetti, okay. Surrey K says, I believe you are a factual resident of Canada, which means you still owe taxes. Not sure about owing taxes, but you still have to legally file your taxes, right? So I still file my taxes every year. So you can't wherever you're resident of. Is the internet bad right now? I can't even tell. Sorry, guys. We'll fix this next live stream. But is it that bad? Huh. Let's see. Okay, we'll continue for another 10, 15 minutes. I am getting word that the internet isn't that good. Peter's like, oh, I guess I'm late today. Better late than never, Peter. He said the shirt looks like static. That's how bad the connection is. Okay. All right, I'll stop moving. Let me go ahead and read some more of these and we'll stop. Okay, guys? Give me a second here. It's a green screen shirt. This is actually, oh, it is green. It looks blue over here. You guys could do some kind of crazy editing with this. Put some weird stuff on here. Uh, okay, Billy is here. Living your lifestyle, how much do you need per month in pesos for all costs? For my lifestyle, I probably need about 75,000. No, 70,000 pesos. KKP, shout out. Hello, Jean Mariano. Michael John says, I'm happy you're able to monetize this channel. Good for you, brother. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. Evan Ghostwright says, I have stared into the eyes of God and I didn't like it. It's a weird comment, man. I don't know what that means. Roy Gold says, so is the Philippines your choice now? You've been there a long time. Any plans for other countries to visit? Yes, Roy, 100%. I will be visiting other countries very soon. Very soon. Living Abroad says, have you come across your favorite holiday or festival in the Philippines yet? Yeah, definitely. Hands down, it's got to be Sinolog Festival in Cebu City, where baby Jesus gets carried around by the locals. It was really fun the 1 year I was there, and then the COVID shut it down for a few years, and I just missed the most recent one. But yeah, for me, it was Sinolog. Okay. And she says, I'm watching live from Canada, and the connection is all good. Okay, okay, okay. So as long as it's not horrible. TB Time says, hi. Hello, TB Time. Jean Mariano is watching from the Philippines. Okay, so let's finish this then. We talked about everything. The bottom line is um, you can live in the Philippines like a king, depending on what your definition of a king is and what you were living like before, right? And my king could be different than yours, but all I know is cost of living is significantly lower in the Philippines. People are much nicer, dating is much easier, and you have, in a weird way, a lot more freedom than you would back in Canada or the US. So, and that's just coming from my perspective, someone that's kind of just passing through. I'm not really living here long term, so I'm sure that would probably change my opinion. But someone that lives here for a few months or a year or whatever, you're gonna have no problem. Sorry, Case, last question. Have you been to Boracay yet? Thoughts? I've never been to Boracay just because I know it's like a popular place and I know it's expensive getting there, and I just don't really care, to be honest. I'm not a really beach person, and I've been to Palawan and I've been to some other islands, so I just don't see how it could possibly be better than Corona or El Nido. I mean, it's so westernized now here that it's so like commercialized, and I'm sure the beach is nice, but I just feel like I'll be amongst a whole bunch of party goers. I'm not really into that. I know the nightlife is crazy down there, so yeah, for me, not a big. But I never really heard too many bad things about it, so it might be a good visit. Zurapa says, "Have a good day or a good one, Alex. Take care. Thank you. You too." Scott Punk Alternative Living says, to help your channel make money, you need to make some cups or shirts with your logo on it, and you can sell it. I definitely support that. Okay, I've thought about that a few times. I just don't want to. There's a couple things. Firstly, how can I? I just don't think there's enough interest in because most people that watch my content is typically for the content itself, right? The interviewees, my guests, and all these things. But I do have an idea that I want to do, and I think I will soon, like very soon, is take some of my favorite quotes and put it on a shirt. Like whenever I do these interviews, sometimes I hear the funniest things, and I think it's good to put that quote on a shirt, put the person's name and which video it's from, so people could check it out. I think that'd be kind of cool. Like for example, I had an Italian guy that once said, I'm like, why are you in the Philippines? He's like, because in Italy, it's too much to feed the woman. So he's talking about it's too much to feed the woman. I'd wear that shirt. That's hilarious to me. So something like that. Um, or who was it? I forgot her name, but she said something hilarious too. I have a whole bunch of quotes in my mind, but I think it'd be kind of cool to put that there, along with some basic living abroad. cups and mugs. So why not? Why are you tripping in the house? I love Baraka, he says. Okay, good to know. And Jean Mariano said Baraka is not far from me, but I'm not yet to visit the Baraka. Okay. So yeah, Boracay, I think it sounds like a mission to me. All the flights are expensive there. It's a party town, and I hear like I'd rather go to Siargao, I think, than Boracay. It's an up and coming place. I know it was devastated during the last typhoon or whatever. But yeah, Scoozy. Hey, Andrew's here. What's up, Andrew? Just tuned in. A little too late, Andrew. I think I'm gonna cut this short in like 10 minutes. So why are you tripping? But I went 10 years ago. It might be a bit different now. Oh, okay. So I don't know when they did the cleanup. I think it was recent, maybe just a couple years ago. They shut down Boracay for a bit to do a serious cleanup of the place, and I think they did a wonderful job from what I've heard and what I've seen. So it might be different, even in a better way. So who knows? Does your room include free Wi-Fi? Yes, sir. I always make sure the rooms I rent has Wi-Fi. Sometimes not the greatest, but I know it's there at least just to communicate and get basic stuff. The one thing about excuse me, the Philippines Wi-Fi, there's no such. I've not seen an unlimited one. They say Smart has unlimited, but then it's got like caps and speed limits and all this stuff. So, but I think you can get about 8 gigs for just $2. It's not bad a week though. So about $8, you can get 24 gigs a month basically. This is a lot if you're just a regular person, not like me uploading every day. Andrew says, "Yeah, Boracay seems too hard. Maximum effort to be around tourists." Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if you want to travel to the Philippines, like, why would you want to be around the same kind of people you left, right? So go ahead and maybe get a bit more remote if you can. I know people that go to like random little towns and have the best dating experience, best just overall experience. So depending on why you're here, if you want to go to the resorts, yeah, Bohol got some nice places. I know Boracay, of course, Palawan, El Nido area, and even in Cebu itself, it's got some great places in Moalboal, Bantayan, all these places. So there's a lot of places in the Philippines. Oh, woo! Let's see. Okay, Billy said, "You're the number one vlogger in the Philippines." Thank you. I get a lot of comments and compliments like that. But unfortunately, every time I go to the top in the Philippines, I kind of leave. And I think this time it'll be the same thing. I might have to reconsider how I'm going to do the channel or the future because I want to travel and I want to be in the Philippines. So I'm kind of like between places. A part of me says continue, grow this channel, maximize as much as you can, but there's more to it than that. Like I still want to travel. I want to experience new things. So do I want to live for the channel or do I want to live for myself? Do I want to live for my viewers? So as a whole, trying to figure out what to do. Why are you tripping? You should consider streaming on Kick. I don't even know what that is. I mean, I know what Kick is, but I don't know if there's any demand for Philippines content. I understand the younger people there is mainly gaming. Am I like way out of? I might be like completely out of touch with this. I have no idea what Kick is as far as streaming Philippines content goes. I wonder if it does any good. Hmm. KKP, new subscriber here. Were you in the Philippines? I am in Cebu City, sir. Yes, that's me. Sorry K says Baraka is very nice, but too touristy for me. I prefer Sikihor. Yeah, Sikihor was quiet, man. I was surprised. It's a really, really tiny, quiet place. I want to go back to Sikihor just so I can explore a bit more. And like, you need to have a motorcycle there or a motorbike to fully grasp some of these places. I don't think I remember seeing any public transportation, but yeah, Sikihor was nice. The island of witches and voodoo and all that, or something. Okay, now we're getting some comments. Okay, as long as we have comments, I'm gonna keep reading them. So, okay, Billy says I was living in Thailand on 40K baht per month, so 70K peso sounds good. Yeah, it's about the same, right? And you'll be fine. I just think depending on you as a person, you either will find the Philippines very different or similar and you enjoy it, right? So it's hard to tell, like, because I know people that love Thailand but cannot stand Philippines, and I know people the other way around. So it's gonna come down to the individual. Why you tripping says I met a Filipino girl in Boracay, so I only parted and hung out with Filipinos, but definitely saw all the tourists around. That's even better, right? Imagine going with a Filipino or being around Filipinos in Boracay. You have a completely different experience, I'm sure. AI Art Collective means vlog your next trip to the coffee shop. Oh yeah, is this because of the last experience I had? I made a video about a typical day in the life of a foreigner in the Philippines. It's gonna be out maybe in a week or so, and I did vlog me going to a coffee shop, so you'll see that in that one. Yeah, Andrew says no idea what Kick is either. YouTube and Facebook are king here. Yeah, especially Facebook. If you're in the Philippines, Facebook is king, 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 king. Speaking of kings, that's what this video is about, right? JCF or JCS fan, why can't I read? JCS Fanatic says great healthcare there is expensive. Can a middle class Western individual afford it? Oh yeah, for sure. Let me tell you, it's a lot less expensive than wherever you're from, probably the U.S., even Canada. Like Canada, yeah, you get free healthcare, but just for like it's not specialized healthcare, right? If you have like problems, you still gotta pay. It's just to go see a doctor, emergency stuff like that's free, but you got to pay for even hospital. I mean, parking. Like I say, parking for ambulance ride, even right. So, okay, Billy says I plan to live in IT Park. I want to be walking distance to the malls, but I know cheapest from is 25K. Yeah, but 25K will still leave you with 45,000 left, and that's over 1,000. That's like 1,500 a day, basically. So you're fine. I mean, I don't know what kind of lifestyle you live, but my thing is like, yeah, 25K is expensive, but you're probably renting short term. It's probably, it's just a lot of caveats to it, a lot of factors that go into that high price. You're in a prime location. That means you probably don't have to like take a jeepney or taxi or bus every time you want to go out to the mall. It's close to all the amenities and the night market. And so when you do the math at the end of the day, let's say you do find somewhere for 15 to 18,000 a month. For another 7,000, which is really nothing when you consider you're living in this place every single day. You want some comfort, right? Because it's not just about going out. What about when you come home? Can you have proper air conditioning, proper internet, a proper sofa, a kitchen if you want to cook, a nice hot shower? So when you factor all those things in, then you start to think, maybe 25K isn't so bad. Now it's not as good as Thailand, I'll give you that. But for the Philippines, for a short-term rental with everything I just mentioned in IT Park, 25K is reasonable. And why you tripping is talking about Kick. It's mostly gaming, but some IRL streamers are gaining momentum. Okay, especially those with Bangkok and Pattaya. There's a few in Philippines too. I guess the internet is a spotty in the Philippines. Oh, I guess yeah. So let's do 3 more minutes. No point of dragging you guys through this internet choppiness, and we'll wrap it up very soon. Okay, Billy said when I lived in Pattaya, I felt isolated and lonely. It's pay for play. I don't like it. Yeah, I believe Cebu is easier to. Oh yeah. Okay, Billy. 100%. Man, talking to people in the Philippines, it's like talking to a group of your friends. You walk up to any person, any individual, they'll talk to you. They won't be mean about it. They won't be rude about it. They'll understand what you're saying. And I'm not gonna say you're gonna go have sex with every woman you meet, but like you'll make connections, you make friendships, you make just general conversation, just interaction with people, just to be seen as a human is a thing in the Philippines, and you won't get that in many other places. Um, and when you have that, then you have a better mindset. You have a more positive outlook. Then you have excitement in your life. You never know. Hey, this girl talked to me today. Maybe tomorrow I can take her out to dinner. And then now you're not eating by yourself. You're eating with a potential partner for the next week, month, or your lifetime. You don't know. So that's why another reason why a lot of people love the Philippines. The opportunities of making connections are always there. It's going to come down to yourself. How many of those do you want to take? How many people are you going to approach today? How many chances will you interact with someone? I make jokes with random people, make them laugh, and simply walk away. Like this stuff is like legit in the Philippines as far as like just talking to people. You know, they speak English, they're friendly. The stage is set for you to do whatever you want, essentially, as far as making new friends, making new connections, networking with people, talking to people, or just simply having a conversation on your way to a coffee shop or back home, you know? So for that reason, I don't think I ever feel lonely in Cebu in that case. Now, if you're coming there just to date, I mean, pay for play is still a thing in the Philippines. Let's not forget, a lot of the normal people will not be online, so they won't be on Tinder or whatever dating site you're on there. They, for whatever reason, they're gonna want something from you, right? So keep that in mind as well. Sir K says, thank you for the content. I'm getting all my medical tests here in Vancouver so far clear. Then I'll be moving to the Philippines. That's amazing, man. Come on over. Andrew says, Billy, if you want friends, go to Dumaguete. There's not a loser there. Some good guys. Oh, sorry. They're not all losers there. There's some good guys. Thanks, Andrew. Yeah, why you tripping? Speaking of Facebook, do you re-upload your content on Facebook page? Recently bought a course on how to monetize Facebook. Some people are make bank. I don't, but I really should. Honestly, I really, really gotta get into that. Like, it's once again, I'm putting in so much work already into my YouTube channel. To go ahead and basically redo the same thing on Facebook is a lot of energy. But I know if I want to monetize it more, I should be. It's like, is the squeeze worth the juice? You know, I'm putting in a lot of effort, and I don't want to overextend myself where I feel like it's becoming work again. But thank you for the reminder. I should really look into Facebook, especially in the Philippines. Andrew says, I'm paying 25K now at Lot 8 condo, 10 minutes away from ILA 15 to IT Park. Okay, yeah, condo 8 is not very far from either of those places. I don't drink, smoke, just looking to date. I'm happy with total cost 70K. Yeah, you'll be fine with 70K. Um, Scott Punk, alternative dating says, do you find it easier to date a woman in the Philippines, in the city, in the province? Which are the best type of Filipino woman to date? Hmm, great question. But depends on what you consider a good type of Filipino. Do you want someone more independent? Do you want someone more reliant on you? Someone more cultured, less cultured, less? So it's really, I never really dated in the province, so I don't have a good understanding. But I know they're gonna depend on you more, right? Whether it's financially or emotionally, even geographically, they might want to move in with you sooner. So depends what you're looking for. Obviously, within the city centers, people are a bit more westernized, they're a bit more modern, they're a bit more not as easy as province girls, but sometimes they bring a little bit less baggage, less kids, less dependent on money. But I really don't know. I think Andrew will give you a better answer to that one. Life journey and helping the poor says hi, good morning, hello. Andrew says same to Billy. You'll be fine with the 70K peso a month. And JCS Fanatic says Thailand would have been great country to live, but not everyone is familiar with the English language compared to the Philippines, where English is part of their culture. Absolutely. Huh. Let's see. Okay, Billy said my main issue with Thailand is that culture different and the language barrier. Yeah, some people it's just too much of a hurdle, right? So why you tripping says I'm planning on going to Thailand and the Philippines by the end of the month. Your vids have been very helpful. Thank you. Why you tripping? I'm glad to help. Okay, Billy says I miss talking to people in English. Yeah, it's a big thing, right? Philip Massey says, Alex, best place for a Westerner to live in Thailand. Goal to live relatively simple but comfortable life in 1500 on a budget. That's a very big question. Like it's too complex. What do you consider the best? What do you prioritize? As we've been talking, English and visa are big concerns. Are you retired? Are you single? Are you looking to date? How old are you? Like there's a whole bunch of factors. Your health issue. So are you making money? Are you on a pension? There's too many things to say for depending on who you are. Biggest positives in Thailand are the food, the infrastructure, um, the variety of, well, yeah, basically that's it. And Thailand and the Philippines is the language is English and the visa is 3 years. So you, I guess, decide which works for you. Andrew says, I had the same issue or problem in Indonesia. Felt like I was talking to kids instead of adults due to language barrier. Yeah, you just have to simplify your words, right? When they're not speaking English, you have to just bring it down to the bare minimum before they understand. Why you tripping says it's not really more work. I think this is about the Facebook thing. You already have the videos. Just change the export setting to 720 to 900 and just re-upload. Re-upload to where? Just my. Yeah, I got. I'll look into it. Was it you that mentioned the course you're taking? How to I will look into it. Promise. Why you tripping said, especially seeing its Philippines content, I think you would go viral. Okay, I'm gonna do it. Thanks. I'll definitely look into that. Andrew's taking off. Take care, mate. Laters. Sorry, Case says any tips on how to find flight deals? Not necessarily. Honestly, it's difficult to. my my suggestion would be to don't look at it like if you continue to look at the same dates and the same flights, the price is going to keep going higher and higher. So when you start looking for flights to actually buy, be ready to buy and buy the best one you can find. Before there was like ways of getting it on a Wednesday or Tuesday, but I think there's so much demand now; it's almost impossible to get a good deal. At least for my, I travel so often, and whether I book it 3 weeks from now or 3 months from now, it's pretty much the same price. And I don't want to wait 3 months in case something happens and I can't make my flight. And good luck trying to get your money back. So I really don't have any tips. The way I do my booking of my flights, I go to Skyscanner, I put in what I'm looking for, I find the flight that I want, and then let's say it's with Philippines Airlines, then I go to the airline directly and book from them. In case something happens, it's much easier for me to try to get a refund from the actual source where I booked it from instead of using a third party like a Skyscanner or cheap flights or whatever because you'll never get your money back. So that's just the only tip I have. AI Art Collective, thank you for all the messages you've deleted, man. A Northern Bohemian Realist, 33. I see. And raining here in Madison. Doesn't make miss. It's 33 degrees. No, what? It's 1 Celsius basically. And it's raining here in Madison. Wisconsin? WI? Does that make you miss Toronto? No, I don't. I don't miss Toronto for the weather, that's for sure. AI Art Collective, thank you for being a moderator, man. I appreciate it. Guys, AI Art Collective, check him out. I think he's got a channel. I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Subscribe. Philip Massey, okay, are there any nice places in Thailand, the beaches that you would consider living? Thailand, I like Krabi, man. Krabi and Krabi City was nice. It's on the beach. It's a Muslim community, so a lot of halal food for those people that care. It's not as popular as Phuket and other places. I know Koh Samui, I've never been there, but I hear a lot of good stuff about it. But personally, beach wise, Pattaya still got a nice beach. They got Cozy Beach and another beach. You don't have to be on the main beach, right? In Pattaya, you don't have to be involved in nightlife if you don't want to. So Pattaya is close to Bangkok. It's got a nice beach and also Krabi. Kapugak Vlogs said, God bless you, host. Thank you. God bless everyone. That's it for me. I'm all out of energy. Thank you guys for being here, for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for the super chats and the super stickers. I appreciate that too. I want to give a big thank you, of course, to Jess Loya for the $10 and Surrey Case for the $7. Much appreciate you guys for asking the questions, keeping this live going, watching the regular content, liking this video. And I'll see you guys in 3 days when I do another live after the other video I post. So I'll figure out how to post on Facebook. That'll be good. See you guys. Bye.